In this episode, number 68, salt, flour, water, yeast. Bread is healthy, and it can be a very healthy part of your friendly, happy, diabetic lifestyle. Stay tuned. This episode of the Happy Diabetic Kitchen podcast is sponsored by my diabetes supplier, US Med. US Med offers free shipping and a 90-day supply with every order. To see how they can simplify your diabetes care, call 1-877-840-8218. I did, and I can feel the love. Remember, there is a much better solution, US Med. Hello everyone, welcome to the Happy Diabetic Kitchen. I am your host, Chef Robert Lewis, the Happy Diabetic, and this is the internet's most delicious cooking podcast. I'm here in the kitchen getting ready to explore a healthy diabetic lifestyle. I want to take the mystery out of healthy cooking and explore some amazing foods and my diabetic journey with all my successes and all my challenges. So let me help you live your best happy diabetic lifestyle. So welcome to the kitchen. And if you're new to the show, I am so happy you're here today. Again, welcome. And in today's episode, it's all about salt, water, yeast, and flour. We're going to look at the facts and truths about bread nutrition. Bread is not evil. Bread has soul and has been around for so long, and it can be a very healthy part of a diabetic-friendly lifestyle. Also, the recipe of the podcast is my tomato cucumber mozzarella salad, direct from Italy, and then, of course, my tips from the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America, lessons I learned while at chef school. All right, everybody, glad you're here. Stay tuned. We will be right back. Time for the lessons from the CIA, my chef school, the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York. Lessons that I learned. Now, for the last 3 weeks, we've been talking about knives. Paring knife, French knife, slicers, bread slicers. Today, we're going to finish up this segment with fillet, or what I like to think of as boning knives. Fillet and boning knives have much thinner blades than other types of kitchen knives. They are the thinnest knives, and these knives are super sharp and are very flexible. They're ideal for cutting raw meat. Fillet knives always have a flexible blade, whereas boning knives can be stiffer or less flexible. These knives are not designed to cut through bones, but rather around bones, taking meat off the bone. They're usually about 6 inches in length and feature a long, tapered blade that sometimes curves dramatically, just depending on the brand that you get. So I love a 6-inch boning knife, and they're very affordable. I like the Westhoff brand. I like the Victorinox flexible boning knives. Those are excellent knives. Now, the question is when to use it. Well, these knives are perfect for breaking down whole chickens, deboning bone-in pork or beef. The ones with flexible blades are best suited to remove skin from fish fillets, like steelhead trout or salmon. A fillet or boning knife is super helpful if you cut a lot of raw meat, fish, or other bone-in proteins. But if you don't cook a lot of meat, well, you may be able to skip this purchase and use a chef knife instead. All right, those are the tips from my cooking school that I learned while going to the Culinary Institute of America. When we come back, let's talk bread. Welcome back, everybody. It's time to talk bread. I know what you're thinking. Chef Robert, bread is evil. Bread is loaded with carbohydrates. and I shouldn't be eating carbohydrates. So the reality is, yes, you absolutely can eat bread. Bread can be a part of a healthy and happy diabetic lifestyle. But again, everything in moderation. That really is the key. So I thought we would just break down bread and talk about my favorite kinds that I love to bake and I love to eat. But let's talk about the basic nutritional facts. Now, these facts are coming from the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA. For one slice, about 32 grams of whole wheat grain bread, 82 calories, 1.1 grams of fat, 144 milligrams of sodium, 13.8 grams of carbohydrates, 1.9 grams of flour, 1.4 grams of sugar, and about 4 grams of protein. Now, the American Diabetes Association recommends 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrates per meal. So there you go. Do the math. Figure it out. Bread can be a part of your healthy and happy diabetic lifestyle. But let's talk about carbs. One slice of whole wheat bread contains about 13.8 carbohydrates. And bread is considered a high-carb food and can also be a source of lots of great fiber, of course, depending on the type. Now, whole wheat bread contains 1.9 grams of fiber. Whole grain breads, the tree barkiest breads you can buy, will have much more fiber, and you can even buy high-fiber breads. Now, what about fats? Well, bread is low in fat, with a slice of whole wheat bread providing about 1.1 grams of fat. It's an excellent low-fat item. But what about protein? So whole wheat bread contains about 4 grams of protein per slice, and bread is relatively high in protein, though it is not complete protein source like an egg. There's lots of vitamins and minerals. Whole wheat bread is a good source for those vitamins and minerals. B vitamins, magnesium, folate, selenium, zinc, magnesium, calcium, iron, vitamin D, they all come from the whole wheat grain. Now, refined bread, white breads, not so much. Enriched breads, not so much. Commercially prepared breads, not so much. You're looking really for the tree barkiest whole grain breads that you can find. And when you're at the grocery store, always check the nutritional labels on any bread that you're buying. Make sure it's got the fiber and the whole grain contents that you're looking for. It's buyer beware when it comes to store-bought breads, which is why I love to bake my no-knead bread at home. And anytime you can eat any food that's high in fiber, we know it keeps you full and keeps your blood sugars from spiking. So I'm always going to be baking high-fiber breads or in the market looking for the highest fiber bread I can find. Lots of studies have shown that consuming more whole grains can help control your blood sugar levels and reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. Research also shows that eating 1.5 servings of whole grains, such as bread, daily can help lower blood sugars and insulin levels. So let's get into a bread that you may not be too familiar with, but it is delicious, it is healthy, and it's one of my favorites to bake, and that is rye bread. Jillian Kubala, an MS.RD in nutrition, says rye bread tends to have a darker color and stronger, earthier taste than regular white or wheat, which is one reason why people, including myself, absolutely love it. Rye bread has been linked to several potential health benefits, including lower blood sugar control and improved heart and digestive health. So let's talk about the nutritional content and health benefits of rye bread. Well, there's a couple different kinds of rye bread we should talk about. There's light rye bread. This variety is made from white rye flour, and it comes from ground rye grain, the endosperm, the starchy core of the rye grain. There's also dark rye bread. This type is made from ground whole rye grains. Sometimes dark rye flour is created from white flour that is colored and flavored with cocoa powder, instant coffee, and molasses. Now, pumpernickel bread, I love making this, is bread made from coarsely ground whole rye grains that is colored with cocoa powder, instant coffee, and I even like molasses. Now, in the United States, commercially made light or dark rye breads tend to be made in combination with wheat flour, compared with regular white or whole wheat bread. Rye bread tends to be denser and darker and has a stronger, kind of a soury, earthy taste. Now, you may not know this, but rye flour contains less gluten than wheat flour, which is why the bread is denser and doesn't rise as high as regular wheat-based breads. However, given that it still contains gluten, it's unsuitable for people with celiac disease or some gluten sensitivity. So, rye breads are made with a combination of rye flour and grains, and depending upon the type of bread, they're darker, denser, and have stronger taste than regular white or wheat breads. And they are good for you. There are great nutritional benefits in rye bread. One is it's a super high fiber bread. That said, the exact composition of these breads really depends on the flour that's used, the bakery, and there's so many factors. Again, refer to the back of the bread package and look at the nutritionals. But typically, one average slice, about 32 grams of rye bread, provides 83 calories, 2.7 grams of protein, about 15 grams of carbs, 1 gram of fat, and almost 2 grams of fiber. And healthy, of course, zinc, phosphorus, magnesium, calcium, and other micronutrients are all found in rye-style pumpernickel breads. Pumpernickel, that is a mouthful. Studies have shown that pure rye bread tends to be more filling and affects blood sugar levels to a lesser extent than white or wheat breads. This comes from the National Library of Medicine. Rye bread is high in many nutrients, especially fiber and vitamin B, and it may be more filling and affect blood levels to a lesser extent than white or whole wheat breads. So, in summary, eating rye bread may benefit your health in several ways. May improve your heart health, may aid in blood sugar control, and let's just be honest, all my happy diabetics out there, blood sugar control is important, and everyone, especially people living with type 2 diabetes who cannot produce enough insulin. And rye bread has several qualities that can aid in blood sugar control. For starters, it's high in soluble fiber, which helps slow the digestion and absorption of carbs and sugars in your digestive tract. It just digests slower, keeping your blood sugars from spiking. And again, because of all that really great fiber, it keeps you full and gives you that full feeling, curbs your appetite. I love baking bread. For me, it's therapeutic. It's kind of Zen-like. It's a little bit spiritual. But I think home-baked bread has soul. And it's easy to do. Head over to the website, happydiabetic.com. Hit the blog link. Search bread, and you will find everything you will need to know to bake amazing bread, from recipes to equipment. And if you have any questions, hit the contact link and reach out. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. You can do it, and you'll have fun doing it, and your family will think you're a star. All right, everybody, stay tuned. We will be right back with the recipe of the podcast. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for the recipe of the podcast. Tomato, cucumber, mozzarella salad. We saw this a lot in various forms while traveling in Italy. And here's my take on it. Simple, fresh, easy, and delicious. I'll put the recipe on the website, happydiabetic.com. Go to the blog, search tomato, cucumber, mozzarella salad, and you will find it. You're going to need tomatoes, cucumber, green pepper, thinly sliced red onion, Greek olives, fresh parsley, fresh basil, a little olive oil, some red wine vinegar or balsamic vinegar, some sugar, salt, dried oregano, and of course, a little salt and pepper to taste. And of course, fresh mozzarella cheese. So let's put this all together. In a large bowl, we're going to combine the tomatoes, cucumbers, green pepper, onions, olives, parsley, basil, all together. Now in a small bowl, we're going to make our dressing. We're going to whisk olive oil, the vinegars, the salt, the sugar, oregano, and pepper. Whip that up really nicely, kind of emulsify it till it's nice and evenly mixed. We're going to simply pour that over the salad and coat. Now, if you can cover and refrigerate for at least 15 minutes just before serving, the flavors will really intensify. Then right before serving, toss in the cheese, and away you go. Simple and easy. A third cup is about 160 calories, 14 grams of fat, 11 grams of cholesterol, about 250 milligrams of sodium, and only 6 grams of carbohydrates. This is a delicious salad that you and your family will absolutely love. So I know this is hard to believe, but I recently signed up for Medicare. Now what about my Libre 2 system from Abbott? As my pharmacy was trying to figure it all out, all the complicated paperwork, I was getting a little frustrated, and quite honestly, so were they. So I called US Med to see if there was a better way. And guess what? There is. Their motto is better service, better care. It's what they call white glove service. And quite honestly, I was worn out by having to make multiple trips to the pharmacy, only to discover the orders were not even ready. Long lines, or they would say, we need to call your doctor. We need to get confirmation for the refill. It went back and forth and back and forth. And after about 2 weeks of this, I absolutely had it. I would reach out to the pharmacy and they would say, the doc never called us back, or they never followed up. That's the thing I hated the most. Are you ready for US Med to always provide you 90 days worth of supplies with fast, free shipping? Yes, free shipping. Look, they carry everything from insulin pumps to diabetic testing supplies to the latest CGMs, the Freestyle Libre 2 and 3, and the Dexcom G6. You know my love for the Libre 2 system, and US Med is the #1 distributor for the Libre 2 systems nationwide. Look, if you're just starting with Medicare like me, US Med should be your very next call. They accept Medicare nationwide and a broad private insurance coverage with over 800, that's right, 800 private insurers, plus an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. If you're looking for supplies from everything from insulin pumps to diabetes testing supplies to the latest CGMs, and you're looking for better service, easier service, delivered right to your door, free shipping, US Med is who you should be getting a hold of. Dial this number right now. Well, why don't you wait till the podcast is over? 888-885-0012, or simply go to usmed.com/happy diabetic. Don't wait any longer. Oh, wait a second. I think that's my doorbell. I think that's US Med delivering my 90-day supply now. Call them or go to the website usmed.com/happy diabetic now. Again, don't wait any longer. The Happy Diabetic does not provide medical advice. This podcast is offered only to provide general information regarding health, wellness, and nutrition. And the information in this podcast is really not intended to be a substitute for medical treatment performed by a healthcare professional. So, if you have questions, consult them before making any major changes to your diet or your eating or exercise lifestyle. I'm not a doctor or a certified educator. I'm a chef living with type 2 diabetes just like you. Although I have 3 children, Attila, Dracula, and Frankenstein, that makes me a psychiatrist of sorts. If you're loving what you hear in the kitchen, share this podcast with all your friends and family and anyone you know living with diabetes. please leave a comment or feedback at Stitcher, Google Play, or Apple Podcasts. And head over to my website, happydiabetic.com, to hear the latest podcast episodes. Our podcast is sponsored by my friends at US Med Supply. Our theme music by the Happy Diabetic Kitchen Band, and of course, our kitchen mascots, Scout and Tucker. This year, better than last year. This month, better than last month. This week, better than last week. And this day, better than yesterday. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And let me leave you with this thought. Alice Waters once said, "Cooking and shopping for food brings rhythm and meaning to our lives." So long for now, and remember, no one loves you more than me.